Hello everyone, this is Siam from the Research and Development Department in Market Equity, and in this video I'm going to be talking about some of the important pairs and instruments and their price movement predictions for the day, which falls on Wednesday, 6th of October 2021. Let's begin with the US dollar versus the Swiss franc, where in the previous videos we said that in the 4-hour time frame it is moving in an uptrend, which is somewhat weak. However, the uptrend was still continuing. Recently, we can see that after the false breakthrough level 0.9330, which is a horizontal resistance level for the pair in the 4-hour time frame, it rebounded downwards off of it in order to retest or correct towards the uptrend line in the 4-hour time frame, and we can see that it rebounded upwards off of around level 0.9230 near the uptrend line, which further supports the continuity of the current uptrend in the 4-hour time frame, as well as the targeting of around level 0.9330 once again. Then we'll continue to target the primary target, which is in the daily time frame, around level 0.9465 as a primary target in the uptrend. If we notice the RSI indicator in the 4-hour time frame, then we can see that by rebounding upwards off of around level 40, it supports the continuity of the uptrend. If we move to the 1-hour time frame, then we can see that the pair was moving in a downtrend and has formed a downtrend line, which recently it broke upwards to it and is currently targeting around level 0.9310, which is a horizontal resistance level in the 1-hour time frame, and by breaking upwards to it, will support the continuity of the overall uptrend in the 4-hour time frame, as well as the targeting of around level 0.9330, as we said, then around level 0.9365, which resembles the last peak in the uptrend. If we notice the RSI indicator in the 1-hour time frame, then we can see that it is currently moving around level 70 near the overbought area, which indicates that there is a probability of rebounding down off of around the current levels or off of around level 0.9310 in order to correct, and in that case, it will continue to retest between levels 0.9275 and 0.9260 in order to build a new higher low than the previous one, which was around level 0.9230, to support the continuity of the overall uptrend. That was it for the US dollar versus the Swiss franc. Let's move on to the Australian dollar versus the US dollar. In the previous videos, we said that the pair is moving in a downtrend in the 4-hour time frame, and we can see that it has formed a lower low around level 0.7170 as well as a lower high, which along with not breaking upwards to level 0.7315 and staying below it will support the continuity of the downtrend in the 4-hour time frame, as well as the targeting of around level 0.7170, which resembles the previous low formed by the pair in the 4-hour time frame, and by breaking downwards to it will support the targeting of around level 0.7110 as primary targets in the current downtrend. If we notice the RSI indicator in the 4-hour time frame, then we can see that by rebounding downwards off of around level 60, it supports the continuity of the downtrend. That was it for the Australian dollar versus the US dollar. Let's move on to the silver. In the weekly time frame, we can see that the silver is moving in a sideways movement between levels 21.65, which is the lower boundary of the sideways movement in the weekly time frame, as well as 29.85, which is the upper boundary of the sideways movement in the weekly time frame. And if we notice the previous candle of the previous week, we can see that it was a positive candle as well as the candle before it, which indicates the probability of rebounding upwards off of around the current levels or off of around the lower boundary of the sideways movement in the weekly time frame in order to continue with the sideways movement. However, this will only be confirmed upon the breaking upwards to level 23.15 in the daily time frame. If we notice the RSI indicator in the weekly time frame, then we can see that by moving around level 30 near the oversold area, it supports the probability of rebounding upwards off of around the current levels in order to continue with the sideways movement. Let's move to the daily time frame, where we can see that the silver has formed a downwards channel where it is currently starting to rebound upwards off of around the lower boundary of it, which is also the lower boundary of the sideways movement in the weekly time frame, around level 21.65, which by rebounding upwards off of it will support the continuity of the current upwards correctional movement inside the downtrend in the daily time frame, which will extend to target the upper boundary of the downwards channel in the daily time frame, or around level 23.15, and as we said, by breaking upwards to level 23.15, which also resembles the upper boundary of the downwards channel in the daily time frame, and will therefore confirm the rebounding upwards off of around the lower boundary of the sideways movement in the weekly time frame to continue with the overall sideways movement. If we notice the RSI indicator in the daily time frame, then we can see that by rebounding upwards off of around level 30 near the oversold area, it supports the continuity of the current upwards correctional movement. Let's move to the 4-hour time frame, where we can see that the silver was also moving in a downtrend. However, recently, it broke upwards through the downtrend line, where it is currently being traded around it, and by rebounding upwards off of around the current levels and breaking upwards to level 22.75, will support the targeting of around level 23.15, which, as we said, by breaking upwards to it, will support the continuity of the overall sideways movement in the weekly time frame. If we notice the RSI indicator in the 4-hour time frame, then we can see that it is starting to rebound upwards off of around level 50, which supports the probability of rebounding upwards off of around the current levels in the 4-hour time frame. That was it for the silver. Market Equity wishes you successful trading and have a nice day.